That's something I would have enjoyed this morning after last night. I attended the game last night.
Did you actually stay for the whole game, Greg?
Shime. I stayed for the entire game.
Wow.
And overtime.
That's a long one.
That's impressive. I got to give you some credit there.
But it was not meant to be for Team USA last night in the Four Nations Face-Off final. It was, first of all, the building was, as Courtney would say, electric. A lot of Canadians there last night, or at least fans of Team Canada.
It looked like that on the broadcast.
Were they friendly or aggressive?
They were friendly. I generally run away from any kind of physical confrontation, Mego. It's not my thing.
Well, it doesn't have to be physical. They could just,
a lot of trash talking.
Trash talk you.
But I don't know. They played. I don't know how you feel, Shime. I felt like if Team USA played the way they played in overtime in regulation, they would have won that game last night. Mm-hmm. It was like dump and chase hockey. Yeah. I felt like
it was. I mean, obviously you were there in person. It seemed like great atmosphere, great game, and it was one of those games where you thought maybe USA would be able to pull it off, but I mean, Milbury said at the end of the day yesterday that they have an unbelievable scoring talent when you leave Connor McDavid in the slot wide open.
Yeah, no, I mean, you cannot let that guy get out there and be wide open and have a shot at you. I mean, I'm guessing that's the way the NHL would have written it up, is that he scores in overtime to win it.
Yeah,
so
it was a success, so I guess that's all that matters. The tournament actually was a success, and is this something that they'll continue to do every year in replace of the All-Star game?
Yeah, why wouldn't they? I mean, you brought it up a million times. They just need to add nations.
Yep.
So it needs to go to 6 nations or 8 nations or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever, because it seems like there's a lot of different nations in the National Hockey League that could form teams, and you could really have it. You saw it with 4, and it was really it seemed like it was a great event. So could you imagine if we had 6 or 8?
I mean, has the world forgiven Russia yet? Or is it, can Russia?
Do they have to forgive them for them to be in the tournament?
Not really.
I mean, what does the hockey have to do with it? I will say though, I wonder, when you look at some of the guys who are these really high-profile stars, like McAvoy and then like Matthew Tkachuk, like what is the extent of his injury going to be that he sustained and then was trying to gut through last night but unable to? Does that start to become more of a conversation of, hey, it's great, this really an exhibition tournament that's best on best is generating so much buzz for the sport? But also from a club perspective for the NHL, do we really want these guys going out there and trying to play through injuries for an exhibition?
Yes, we do.
We do. Yes. I'm saying we do, but do the professional clubs want them to?
The NHL must love it. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing that you're probably right, where there are going to be owners and GMs and coaches who don't love it because they're without a guy that they would not be without if it weren't for the tournament.
What they should do would be pretty cool, and I don't know if you could necessarily do it. You might be able to, is where you could play the tournament and then have them have like a week to 10 days off after, and that be the trade, kind of like the trade period, you know what I mean? So teams could, if maybe guys did get nicked up and they needed a place, they could trade for guys, and then guys would get some rest because, I mean, what's today? Friday? And
all day long.
Right.
It's Friday.
Aren't they right back at it tomorrow, with NHL games?
Yeah.
So it'd be, if you gave them like a week to 10 days off after this Four Nations tournament, I think it would be maybe a little bit better, and clubs wouldn't mind. NHL teams would be like, all right, that's a little better.
But then, Wiggy, aren't you you're kind of creating what I think matters is how much the return on investment of this tournament is. Obviously, probably in part because some of the international political stuff going on, it's got a huge spotlight on it this time around.
Yeah.
But do you want to start rearranging the NHL schedule around an exhibition game? Does it continue to generate this much buzz? After next year, they have the Olympics, and then after that, does it continue to generate this much buzz where then you're rearranging and saying these guys need another week off?
You're saying there won't be as much drama once Canada is the 51st state.
Well, yeah, of course, all drama's gone.
Maybe we could, if we also own Greenland by then, we could get them in.
Canada's too big to be one state.
It really isn't.
Yes, it is.
Wiggy, what is the biggest state?
I would say Texas.
Incorrect.
Shime, I knew. I have a guess.
California.
No,
Incorrect.
It's Chile.
I would say it's probably California.
Incorrect.
No, it's Alaska.
It's Alaska.
Oh,
Ding, ding, ding.
Shime.
All right.
Full flex from you this morning. I
Okay.
love it.
You're welcome.
But that's the biggest state just based on size.
Correct.
Not on population.
Have you ever played Pokemon Go in Alaska?
I wish, Greg. I've never been to Alaska. I would love to, though. That sounds like a blast.
No, I mean, also, if you add nations, you have to add time to it.
Right, I understand that, but I think that no matter what, to answer your question, Mego, I think because it's nations versus nations, it's always going to be a giant buzz. Fans are going to be into it. It's kind of like FIFA's World Cup, right? Mm-hmm. So Team USA fans are going to be into it. Canadian fans are going to be into it. So I think it's good for the NHL because it just creates more and more publicity for them. Yeah, and so if you were to say, hey, is the reward a benefit to giving these guys a week off? I think at the end of the day, it would be. They would say, all right, we'll just kind of pencil in a week after the Four Nations, but we look at all the pub we'll be able to get when we do add other nations in, and we'll be able to generate great pub for our NHL league.
How did you feel about the response to "Oh Canada" last night?
I didn't realize they changed the words. That's what I don't know if she screwed it up or if
that
it was
lady was
intentional.
not good.
Yeah, I don't know
offense.
the words.
She stunk.
She was not great. I don't know. And I don't understand why they bumped the great Todd Angeli hours before that game last night.
It was hours before?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Why would they do that? He would have that place would have exploded.
Yeah.
There's no explanation for it. And it was like a driving into the garden situation.
Oh, really?
For him. And I don't and
That's
that was
rude.
and that was an NHL decision.
Oh.
So
the
boo the
NHL
NHL.
demanded the Boston Pops? There was
yes.
That's a strange demand
Yeah,
from
that
the
is weird.
NHL.
I know, it's very
we
easy
must
to do it.
have the classical music.
I didn't mind the early boos. I thought,
And there weren't. It
was quick,
It might have sounded different on TV.